In January, the median sales price of a house in the Austin metro area rose 30% to $476,000. While it's getting tougher to find housing in Austin, home builders are struggling to keep up with demand. Here to talk about this is Scott Turner, president of the Home Builders Association of Greater Austin. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Well, people are looking farther outside of Austin city limits to find homes, but construction has been slowing. Scott, would you explain what supply chain issues the industry is facing right now?
Well, right now, the construction industry is very disrupted due to a shortage of both labor and materials in Austin and nationwide. It is harder than ever for builders to complete homes on time. Right now in Austin, it's taking almost twice as long to build as it did pre-pandemic. So we are building less housing per year despite our best efforts.
So how does
due to these supply chain disruptions, and that's frustrating for both builders and buyers.
I imagine. How does the construction slowdown impact people who are looking for homes?
Well, our limited capacity combined with unprecedented job growth has reduced our housing supply to record lows. So there's almost nothing to choose from, and people have to drive further and further out to find a home they can afford. This means more time in traffic, less time with family, and a lot of pressure on our surrounding cities trying to cope with growth in the suburbs.
For the past 10 years, Austin leaders have acknowledged the decades-old land development codes need to be updated to meet housing demand. What issues do home builders face when navigating this zoning process?
Well, a big obstacle is simply the time it takes. In the city of Austin, a new subdivision takes 2 years to get approved, for example, and a building permit takes about 4 months to build a single house. And to get that subdivision approved, we have to navigate thousands of pages of regulations across more than a dozen departments. It takes longer than ever to get housing approved right now, and that has got to change or our housing supply will simply never catch up.
Attempts to overhaul the land development code citywide have failed in recent years. What solutions do home builders need to see from Austin leaders to alleviate the housing shortage?
Well, our current land development code is almost 40 years old and outdated. We started on a new one about 10 years ago. It's caught in a lawsuit right now, so we have nothing to show for it. And look at what's happening to home prices. It's clear that our current code simply can't provide enough housing, much less housing that the average Austinite can afford. So I think temporary Band-Aid type solutions simply won't be enough. We just need to overhaul our building code so that we can produce the housing that our city desperately needs. And I think as a part of that, our city council should direct city staff to cut red tape and approval times. Other cities in Texas can get things done much more quickly. Why can't we? I think we could produce twice as much housing if approval times were cut in half. It's as simple as that.
All right, Scott Turner with Home Builders Association of Greater Austin. Thank you so much for sharing your time and perspective with us tonight.